I think we should go to town first.
Sure.
It's a map that everyone knows.
Yeah, that's the town map is it's one of the older maps which has received a few iterations before, but none like this, so to speak.
Actually, the town map already had a lot of elements that we really liked, and it was also the first map to be moved into the new terrain system.
Yeah.
So it's.
I think it is and still is one of the most played maps, and it's great fun to play it. So it's going to be even more fun now, but it's not live yet, so you can't really enjoy it just yet. You can just enjoy the watching. So let's have a look.
What is the
override?
Override.
And start. Just to make everything a little bit faster, we're just doing some commands which skip some of the waitings and makes it a bit easier to actually show you the map.
All right.
If you would be so kind to fly to Alpha 1 and can you enable the spawns so we can have a look at how these spawn zones actually look.
Yes. So you can already see that I'm spawning with spawn protection.
And that spawn protection basically lasts just like on the skirmish maps and on the depot encounter. It lasts until you actually exit the zone, or if you perform like an action which requires you to be visible. So it's not like you can shoot people when you're still invisible. Once you shoot, you actually become visible.
Alright, so you wanted me to go to A1?
Yeah, the one on the back there, there's a spawn point behind the barn there.
Yes.
Do you have the command to enable it?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright.
So it looks a bit wonky, I think. Yeah, it's a little bit, but perhaps Dashi can explain a bit how this system works.
Yeah, so before, as I said, we would hand place every single spawn, so you would be able to kind of predict where a tank would spawn, for example, because there was only one tank spawn. But as you may see here, the yellow circles are spawns, and they are automatically generated by the game within an area, which is the same area that has the spawn protection. Okay. So you can see the small circles are foot spawns for infantry, and you've got small vehicle spawns also being generated, which is jeeps and half-tracks and stuff like that.
Half-tracks are considered large vehicles, if I'm not mistaken.
Large vehicles are tanks and half-tracks. I actually don't know which.
So, the small vehicles are basically the motorcycles and the jeeps and stuff like that. And the large vehicles are considered to be, right now, is the tanks, the ISV, so the infantry support vehicles, since Garman, or when Garman hits live, it will also include the mechanized recon vehicles.
Nice. So,
but basically, when I spawn, it's random which one it picks for me.
Yes.
And next to that, I will be invisible until I either fire or exit that zone.
I'm seeing like 9 large vehicle spawns here, which before would be 1. And it would be very easy to predict 1 or 2, and here we have 9, and you're spawning inside spawn protection, so
yeah,
that's very nice.
Okay, could you maybe also have just a small look at the spawn protection?
Yes. Draw. Yes.
So a lot of squares. But yeah, could you tell us what exactly does this show?
Yeah, so this shows the spawn protection area, the area in which you're spawn protected. The blue area is the area in which you're protected, and the green area, I believe, is the warning area. Mm-hmm. If an enemy comes close, they'll be warned that they're approaching a spawn zone.
Okay, so basically, I mean, of course, on the live servers, when this is live, you don't see the actual green squares.
No.
But once you enter that space, it will show a warning like you're about to enter an enemy deploy zone.
Yes.
And what happens exactly when I enter the blue area as an enemy soldier?
You cannot fire.
It will completely disable everything.
Yeah.
That's very nice. That's very nice. I just taking a random question from chat. Could you tell us, like, because of the spawn zones, the deploy zones being placed on different positions, will we increase the time you have to actually assault, or will it stay at 30 minutes?
It will stay at 30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you will still have you will still have 30 minutes to assault an objective.
Yes.
Just a heads up. This is not Alpha 4. This is Alpha 1. We're talking about. This is currently the deploy zone behind Alpha 1.
This cannot be disabled.
No, you have to use render.clear all debug 1.
Right.
Okay. Just want to talk a little bit more about the objectives. Could you enable the spawn points again, and could you show, like, where will I be able to spawn if if an objective is neutral?
Yes. So,
because this is still a bit confusing. Like, this is behind Alpha 1, so this is basically where you start your battle. If you were to start at Alpha line, this is where you start your battle.
Yes. So basically, if I could explain the rules as simple as I can, if you own a point, a capture point, you will be able to spawn in the deploy zone behind it. And if the point, if your line goes up to a neutral point, you will also be able to spawn in the deploy zone behind that one.
Okay.
So there's a deploy zone between all the points.
So, yeah, so basically if the objective is neutral or in your hands, you can spawn in front of it and behind it, but only if it's not in your hands, you can only spawn behind it.
Yes.
Okay, so that clears it up. So basically, just since it's also on the screen, whenever we spawn at Alpha 1, so to speak, and the enemy holds Alpha 2,
yes,
and are fighting for Alpha 1, they will be able to spawn at the zone which is shown in the forest over there?
No, if we hold Alpha 1,
yes,
they will not spawn here, they will spawn...
I think the one on the left,
here.
Yes.
Yes.
And they will spawn basically towards Alpha 2.
Yes.
So they can contest that.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome.
But if a point becomes neutral, if you have two opposing factions and the point, they're fighting for a point and it becomes neutral, both the teams can spawn very close to that point and fight for it.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, now we're on the town map anyway. We might as well show what changes have been made.
Yes. Well, with the town map, this is the map that Redbjørn did.
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, what is your main takeaways? What is the most important changes you've made to the town map? And he said that obviously the capture zones have changed a lot.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect chance to show how some of that happened. If you remember this point,
it used to be very small.
it used to be like 2 barns, right?
Yes.
But now you can see the rules have been implemented about having a clearly defined border.
I see also the buildings itself have changed. They look like different kind of barns. Like this one has an opening on both sides.
Yes, we made some more buildings in order to facilitate. We had too few buildings, so we made some new ones. Yeah, so basically you can see the capture zone has some points of protection, and it has a clear defined border, and its entry points has sandbags and...
just like the design document said. It's
precisely.
Almost like you followed it.
Yeah, so hopefully that's going to be pretty awesome fighting for that one. I would just like I'm not going to go through all of it.
Yeah.
The town map has changed, of course, a lot, but I'm just going to go through some of the awesome zones.
Yeah.
I think like 2 seconds.
You wanted to see Alpha 3 and Echo 4?
Yeah, this is Alpha 3, obviously.
It's changed a lot as well. It used to be just one building, and now it's It is also actually, by the looks of it, it's slightly harder for tanks to just drive around it because of the
Yes.
obstacles. Which
You have a lot of cover, and you can kind of see this. This is a very easy to see that this micro level design idea in implementation. You have points of cover, you have strong positions, and you have like a easy pathing option through the zone. I think this would be a lot more fun to fight over once you're inside the zone.
Yeah, but vehicles are still able to enter, right? So it's just the obstacles which you place. It makes it slightly more difficult to actually enter, but they will still be able to enter.
That's it's not a rule. Some capture zones will be kind of fenced off from vehicles, but if we consider that vehicles should be able to enter, that's also in some capture zones.
Okay. So, but in this particular case, I would still be able to drive my Jeep around the area and or an APC for that matter.
Definitely.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, you really have to start looking for each other here and try to capture it. Not to mention that I see that Rebjorn did his best to add a dead horse again.
Yes.
So I'm very, very pleased to see this.
This is my dead horse?
Yes.
I hate this.
Well, congrats on making dead horses.
So pretty. No, I'm just gonna show you some of the other awesome capture zones that he added.
Okay.
So I'll go to E4, which is by this river ford.
Wow, this really. I mean, this is a huge change on this map. Actually, it looks completely different and it allows for much better cover by the looks of it.
Yeah, and it just looks so much better and looks more like the fight for the river ford is going to be much more interesting now.
Yeah, and there's actually something else which changed with Ecoline as well, right? Not sure if he told you that. Is that it used to connect to church.
Oh.
It used to once you captured Echo 4, you could capture church, but I'm not sure if you're aware if he told you this, but I happen to have tested the maps myself as well. Is actually that Echo 4 now connects to police station instead of church.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's a little closer, I guess, but primarily it's a lot less open space you have to cross, so it's a lot more intense fighting.
Puts you in the town battle rather than running around the side.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
And also one of the other things which has changed here is actually Echo 2. I'm not sure if you can...
Yes, I'm gonna go
before we show off the other awesome stuff.
So here's Echo 3.
Which is no longer placed completely in the forest.
And coming up in Echo 2.
The main difference, I guess, is that Echo 2 used to actually be below. So the barns where Echo 2 used to be have been removed. These are actually the barns where you would snipe from above. So that's also one of the things, because as far as I understood it simply just makes sense to do it this way, and it creates a much more interesting battles by slightly relocating it.
Of course, this new spawn dynamic will completely change the flow of the maps, and we're hoping that we're trying to create some really cool new situations.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good.
All right. I think I'm not going to show more of town map.
We can. We have much